Jason was a millionaire, young, charming, and kind-hearted. He had everything: wealth, popularity, and a heart full of love for one woman, Melissa. He loved her deeply and believed she felt the same way about him. One evening, under the soft glow of candlelight, Jason knelt down on one knee and pulled out a sparkling diamond ring. "Melissa, will you marry me?" he asked with a big smile. Melissa gasped, covering her mouth in excitement. "Yes, yes, 1,000,000 times yes," she screamed, hugging him tight. The news of their engagement spread like wildfire. Everyone congratulated them, but there was one person who wasn't too pleased: Jason's father, Mr. Harold. "My son, are you sure Melissa truly loves you?" Mr. Harold asked, his face serious. "Of course, Dad. Melissa isn't after my money. She loves me for who I am," Jason replied confidently. Mr. Harold shook his head. "You are too trusting, my son. You need to test her love. A woman's true heart is revealed in times of hardship." Jason looked away for a moment, his voice softer. "It's not just Melissa, Dad. I'm scared. Scared of trusting the wrong person again." Mr. Harold leaned forward. "What do you mean?" "Before Melissa, I was engaged once," Jason said slowly. "She left when my business hit a rough patch, said she couldn't be with someone whose future wasn't secure. Since then, I've kept things to myself, even my health issues." Mr. Harold raised an eyebrow. "Health issues? It's nothing serious," Jason said quickly. "Just mild arrhythmia. The doctor says it's manageable, but it made me think, what if it gets worse one day? Would Melissa still stay?" Mr. Harold nodded slowly. "Then you understand why I want you to be sure." Jason looked down, then back up with resolve. "That's why I'll test her. Just once, and she'll prove me wrong." Jason went to the hospital and spoke to his doctor. "Doctor, I need your help. I want to fake an accident to see if Melissa truly loves me," he explained. The doctor was surprised but agreed. They wrapped thick bandages around Jason's legs and neck, making him look badly injured. He was placed on a hospital bed with machines beeping around him. Once everything was set, the doctor picked up the phone and called Melissa. "Hello, is this Miss Melissa?" the doctor asked. "Yes, I am Melissa." "Who is this?" "I'm Dr. Fields from Starlight Hospital. Your fiancé, Mr. Jason, was in a terrible accident. He is in critical condition. Please come immediately." Melissa's heart nearly stopped. "Oh my God, I'm on my way," she cried, grabbing her car keys and rushing out of the house. When Melissa arrived at the hospital, she ran straight into the emergency room. She gasped when she saw Jason lying on the bed, his legs completely covered in bandages, his neck wrapped tightly. Tears filled her eyes. "Oh my love, what happened?" she sobbed, rushing to his side. Jason opened his eyes weakly and tried to smile. "Mel, I'm sorry. I don't know if I'll ever walk again," he whispered. Melissa cried even harder. "No, don't say that. You will walk again. I'll take care of you, my love." She ran to meet the doctor in his office. "Doctor, please tell me the truth. What is happening to my fiancé?" she asked, her voice shaking. The doctor sighed, shaking his head. "Miss Melissa, the accident was very bad. I don't think he will be able to walk again. His legs are completely damaged." Melissa's whole body felt weak. She held on to the chair for support. "No, no, this can't be happening," she whispered. She left the doctor's office in tears and went straight to her mother's house. Melissa's mother, Mrs. Doreen, was preparing dinner when Melissa stormed into the house, her face full of tears. "Mommy, I don't know what to do. Jason had an accident, and the doctor said he may never walk again." She cried. Her mother's face changed. "What do you mean he can't walk again?" she asked, frowning. Melissa wiped her tears. "Mommy, I love him, but I'm still young. I don't know if I can spend the rest of my life pushing a wheelchair." Mrs. Doreen sighed. "Melissa, love is not just about enjoying the good times. Marriage is for better or worse." Melissa shook her head. "Mommy, I don't know if I can do this. What if I end up suffering?" Her mother placed a hand on her chin and thought for a while. Then she said, "You have to be smart about this. Do you want to be tied down to a man who can't walk? You are too young for this kind of burden. Let's think carefully." Melissa looked at her mother, confused. "What do you mean?" Her mother smirked. "We have Clara in this house, don't we? She can take care of him." Melissa's eyes widened. "Clara? My stepsister, the one we treat like a maid?" Her mother nodded. "Yes, since she's the one always washing and cooking in this house. Let her go to the hospital and be the one to take care of Jason. Let her suffer for you." Melissa wiped her tears. A small smile appeared on her lips. "That's true, true. Clara will take care of him. I can't suffer because of love. Mrs. Doreen smiled. Good. Now go to bed. Tomorrow we will send Clara to the hospital. The next day, Melissa went to the hospital and looked at Jason with pity. She held his hand and said, My love, I'm sorry, but I can't take care of you. You deserve someone who can do it better. Jason's heart broke. Melissa? What are you saying? Melissa turned her face away. I have asked Clara to take care of you. She will be coming to the hospital every day to look after you. Jason's eyes filled with tears. His heart felt like it had been stabbed. Melissa stood up. I have to go now. Get well soon. She left without looking back. As Jason lay there, tears rolled down his cheeks. He now knew the truth. The woman he loved with all his heart had abandoned him in his weakest moment. But what Melissa didn't know was that Jason wasn't really paralyzed. This was all a test. Jason had been discharged and now sat in his grand mansion, his wheelchair positioned near the glass window overlooking his garden. His heart was heavy, but his mind was clear. Melissa had failed the test, but he wasn't done yet. Clara, Melissa's stepsister, was now his caretaker. She was quiet, humble, and hardworking, the complete opposite of Melissa, even though life had never been fair to her. She never complained. Now she was the one cooking, feeding, and pushing Jason's wheelchair without a single sign of irritation. One afternoon, Jason took his phone and dialed Melissa's number. She answered after a few rings. Hello, baby, she said sweetly. Melissa, I need you here at the mansion, Jason said, his voice calm but firm. For what? Melissa asked. I want you to take care of me yourself. I don't want Clara to do it anymore. Melissa hesitated. Baby, I just got a new job. I don't have time to do all that. Clara will continue taking care of you. She's already used to it. Jason chuckled bitterly. Melissa, I am your fiancé? You mean you have no time to take care of the man you want to marry? Melissa sighed dramatically. Baby, please understand me. I need to work. You know I love you, but I also have my life to live. I promise I will come to see you later. Okay, all right, Jason said simply, then ended the call. He stared at his phone, shaking his head. He already knew what was happening. Melissa was avoiding him. Days passed and Melissa barely visited the mansion. She always had one excuse or another. I'm so busy at work. I'm tired. I have a meeting today. Traffic was too much. I couldn't come. But while Melissa kept avoiding him, Clara was the one staying by his side. She would wake up early in the morning to clean his room, prepare his meals, and help him bathe. She didn't rush or complain. She would smile and say, Sir Jason, your food is ready. When she pushed him outside for fresh air, she would sit beside him and talk with him about anything he wanted. Jason noticed how much effort she put into taking care of him. Even when she was tired, she still made sure he was comfortable. One night after dinner, Jason watched Clara as she cleared the dishes. He could see the sweat on her forehead. Clara, come and sit down, he said. Clara wiped her hands and hesitated. Sir, I am fine. I said sit, Jason repeated. She obeyed, sitting on the couch across from him. Why are you doing all this? He asked suddenly. Clara looked confused. I don't understand. You're not my fiancé. You don't owe me anything. So why are you doing all this? Why are you taking care of me like this? Clara lowered her gaze. Because I know what it feels like to be abandoned. Jason raised an eyebrow. What do you mean? Clara took a deep breath. My mother died when I was 6. My father remarried, and that's how Melissa's mother came into my life. She never treated me like her daughter. I was always the one cleaning, washing, and cooking, while Melissa got everything she wanted. But I never complained. I just did what I had to do. Jason remained silent. He didn't know Clara had been through so much. She smiled faintly. I know what it means to be unwanted, and I don't want you to feel that way. That's why I'm here. Jason looked at her closely. Unlike Melissa, who always worried about her comfort, Clara was selfless. He took a deep breath. His father had been right all along. Love is not about words, it is about action. Meanwhile, Melissa was busy enjoying her life. Since Jason was now paralyzed, she had started acting like she wasn't engaged anymore. She went out with her friends, partied, and even started entertaining other rich men who were interested in her. One evening, her friend Tina confronted her. Melissa, why haven't you been going to the mansion to see Jason? Melissa rolled her eyes. Tina, I'm too young to waste my life pushing a wheelchair. If I go there often, Jason will expect me to stay. No, I can't do that. But he's your fiancé, Tina exclaimed. Melissa smirked. So what? He got engaged to me when his legs were fine, but now the doctor says he may never walk again. I can't marry a man in a wheelchair. What kind of future will I have with him? Please, Tina, I'm still too young to tie myself to a life like that. Tina sighed deeply, shaking her head. So the accident is that bad? He can't walk again? Such a fine man. His life wasted just like that. Melissa exhaled, looking away. I pity him, Tina. Yes, I feel bad too, but unfortunately I can't continue my life with a crippled man. I have dreams, a future. I just can't. Back at the mansion, Jason watched Clara carefully. He saw how she genuinely cared for him. One evening, as Clara pushed his wheelchair toward the garden, he looked up at her and asked, Clara, do you ever wish for a better life? Clara chuckled. Everyone does, sir. But what if someone offered you a better life? What if someone wanted to take care of you for a change? Clara smiled, but shook her head. Sir, I don't do things for rewards. I'm taking care of you because I want to, not because I expect anything in return. Jason's heart softened. For the first time, he saw true love, not the kind that came with empty words, but the kind that came with actions. And it wasn't from Melissa. It was from Clara. Jason knew what he had to do next. Jason sat in his mansion, staring at the garden through the glass window. His mind was heavy with thoughts when his father, Mr. Harold, walked in. Mr. Harold looked at his son, still seated in the wheelchair, and shook his head. Jason, where is your fiancée? He asked. The woman you claimed loved you so much. Jason opened his mouth but couldn't find the right words. His father sighed. With your condition now, you will go to Melissa's house, meet her family, and tell them you still want to continue with the marriage procedure. If she accepts, then you will know she truly loves you. But if she turns you down, then you will know she was never yours to begin with. Jason hesitated for a moment, then slowly nodded. All right, Dad, I will go. The next day, Jason was wheeled into Melissa's house. He found Melissa sitting in the living room, scrolling through her phone with a relaxed expression. Her mother was in the kitchen and her father was watching the news. As soon as Melissa saw him, her face changed, but she quickly forced a smile. Baby, you didn't tell me you were coming, she said, standing up awkwardly. Jason looked at her and took a deep breath. I came to tell your family that I am ready to continue with our wedding plans, he said. Melissa's father looked pleased. Yes, we will continue. That's good news, son. You're a good man, and we support the marriage, he said. But Melissa's mother frowned, her lips twisting in disapproval as she folded her arms across her chest. Melissa's face turned pale. She swallowed hard, then took a deep breath. Jason, I can't do this, she finally said. Jason's hands clenched the armrest of his wheelchair. What do you mean? I mean, I can't marry you. I'm so sorry, Melissa said, looking away. Her mother cleared her throat. We are sorry, Jason. You will find another woman, she added coldly. Jason felt like his heart had just shattered into 1,000 pieces. He had known the truth all along, but hearing it from Melissa's mouth still hurt deeply. Without another word, he turned his wheelchair around and rolled himself out of the house. As he left, Melissa's father sighed. Melissa, are you sure about this? Melissa nodded quickly. Yes, Daddy. I can't waste my life taking care of a man in a wheelchair. Her mother smiled. You made the right decision, my dear. You are still young. You will find another rich man. But they had no idea what fate had in store for them. The next day, Clara arrived at Jason's mansion with a bowl of fresh soup she had prepared for him. She placed it on the table and smiled. Sir Jason, I made you something warm. Jason looked at her, his heart filled with emotions. Clara, sit down, he said. Clara obeyed, looking at him curiously. Is everything all right, sir? Jason took a deep breath and reached into his pocket. He pulled out a small, beautiful ring. Clara, will you marry me? Clara's eyes widened. Her hands covered her mouth in shock. Sir Jason, are you serious? Jason smiled. You have proven to me what love really means. You have shown me kindness, care, and loyalty when I had nothing to give in return. And now I want to give you my heart. Tears welled up in Clara's eyes. She had never imagined that a man like Jason would ask for her hand in marriage. Yes, I will marry you, she cried, throwing her arms around him. Jason sighed in relief. For the first time in a long while, he felt truly happy. That evening, Clara went home and told Melissa and her mother about the engagement. Jason proposed to me, Clara announced happily, and I accepted. Melissa and her mother exchanged glances before bursting into laughter. "Ha, no problem. You have our full support," Melissa said, wiping a fake tear from her eye. Her mother smirked. "Yes, my dear. Since you enjoy suffering, go ahead and push his wheelchair for life." Melissa crossed her legs and picked up her phone. "I can't wait to see you wearing a wedding gown and wheeling your husband around," she said mockingly. Clara ignored the mockery and walked to her room. Deep inside, she knew she was making the right choice. A month later, the grand wedding took place. Despite being in a wheelchair, Jason looked charming in his suit, while Clara looked breathtaking in her wedding gown. It was a small but beautiful ceremony, attended by only close family and friends. Melissa and her mother didn't bother to attend. They were too busy celebrating Melissa's freedom. After the wedding, Jason and Clara went on their honeymoon to a luxurious private resort. On their second night, Clara was arranging their things when she heard a sound behind her. She turned around and gasped. Jason was standing up from his wheelchair. "Clara," Jason said softly, stretching his legs and taking a step forward. Clara's heart pounded. "Sir Jason, you can walk?" Jason smiled. "Yes, Clara. I was never truly paralyzed. It was all a test. A test of love." Clara covered her mouth in shock, tears running down her face. "You mean you were never really disabled?" Jason shook his head. "No, my love. I needed to see who truly cared for me beyond my wealth. And you, Clara, are the only woman who stood by my side." Clara ran to him, hugging him tightly as fresh tears of joy poured down her cheeks. Melissa had rejected him because of his condition, but Clara had accepted him with all her heart. And now, she was the one standing beside him as his wife. Jason held her close and whispered, "You are the real queen, Clara, and I will spend the rest of my life proving it to you." Jason drove his sleek black SUV into his father's mansion, his heart filled with gratitude. As he stepped out of the car, he adjusted his suit and walked toward the grand entrance. Mr. Harold was sitting in the large living room reading a newspaper when Jason walked in. He looked up, surprised but pleased. "Jason, my son, you are walking," his father exclaimed with a proud smile. Jason smiled back. "Yes, Dad, and I came here to thank you." His father raised an eyebrow. "Thank me?" Jason sighed and sat down beside him. "Dad, I was blind. I was so sure Melissa loved me, and I didn't even imagine things would turn out like this. But now I see clearly. Clara is gold. She has proven what true love is." His father nodded knowingly. "Son, I know women. That's why I told you to test Melissa. Love is not about sweet words and fake promises. It's about standing by someone through all conditions." Jason took a deep breath. "You were right, Dad. Clara was there when I was in the wheelchair. She treated me with kindness and respect. Not because of my money, but because she truly cared." Mr. Harold smiled. "That's why she is now your wife. A woman who stands by you in tough times is a woman who deserves to enjoy your good times." Jason stood up and shook his father's hand. "Once again, Dad, thank you for opening my eyes." His father patted his shoulder. "I only guided you, but it was up to you to see the truth. And now, you have found real love." The next day, Jason decided to take Clara out to a fancy restaurant. It was a beautiful evening, and the atmosphere was perfect. Clara wore a stunning red gown, her beauty glowing under the restaurant's warm lights. As they sat laughing and enjoying their meal, someone spotted them. Tina. Tina's eyes nearly popped out of her head. "Wait, is that Jason?" she whispered to herself. She blinked rapidly, unable to believe what she was seeing. Jason was walking. Not only that, but Clara looked completely transformed. Her beauty was undeniable. Without wasting a second, Tina grabbed her purse and rushed out of the restaurant straight to Melissa's house. She burst into the living room, breathing heavily. "Melissa, you won't believe who I just saw," she said, struggling to catch her breath. Melissa rolled her eyes. "Who?" she asked lazily, scrolling through her phone. Tina grabbed Melissa's phone from her hands. "Jenny, it's Jason and Clara." Melissa frowned, and Tina held her shoulders and shook her lightly. "Jenny, Jason is walking." Melissa's phone almost slipped from her hands. "What?" she gasped. "Yes, he is perfectly fine. And Jenny, you won't believe it. Clara is stunning. She looked like a queen sitting beside Jason." Melissa stood up immediately. "Are you serious?" Tina nodded. 100% serious." Melissa didn't waste any time. She grabbed her keys and rushed out of the house, heading straight to Jason's mansion. When Melissa arrived at Jason's mansion, she rang the bell impatiently. After a few seconds, the door opened and there stood Clara. Clara smiled politely. "Sister, you're welcome. Come in." Melissa ignored the invitation and folded her arms. "Where is Jason?" Clara still smiled. "He has gone to work." Melissa's face twisted in anger. "You are very wicked, Clara. So you didn't tell me my man was walking again? You wanted to keep it a secret so you could have him all to yourself?" Clara remained calm. "Sister, Jason is my husband now. I didn't hide anything from you. You never even asked about him." Melissa scoffed. "Shut up. You think you've won, right? Let me see how long you will enjoy him." At that moment, Jason's car pulled into the driveway. As he stepped out, Melissa's heart leaped. Without thinking, she ran to him and hugged him tightly. "Oh baby, I missed you so much. I'm so happy you can walk again." Jason frowned and pushed her away gently. "Melissa, what are you doing here?" Melissa looked up at him, her eyes filled with fake tears. "Jason, I'm so sorry. I was foolish. I let my mother deceive me, but I swear I love you. Please forgive me." Jason shook his head and sighed. "Melissa, I was never in any accident." Melissa's body stiffened. "My father arranged for me to test you, to see if you truly loved me. I was so sure you would prove my dad wrong. But you proved him right. You loved my money, not me." Melissa covered her mouth in shock. "Oh my God." Jason looked straight into her eyes. "Do you remember the day I came to your house and told your family I wanted to proceed with the wedding? You rejected me. You told me you couldn't waste your life pushing a wheelchair." Melissa fell to her knees. "Jason, please. I didn't know. I was deceived. I love you. I swear." Jason shook his head. "Melissa, please leave my house. I am already married, and not just to anyone, but to your stepsister, the woman who stood by me when you walked away." Tears streamed down Melissa's face. "No, this is not happening. Jason, please, give me one more chance." Jason turned away. "Clara, please close the door." Clara stepped forward, and for the first time she wasn't the quiet, scared stepsister anymore. "Sister, you once laughed at me and said I would suffer for the rest of my life, but now I have found love and happiness. Please go home." Melissa wiped her tears and stood up, glaring at Clara. "You think you have won, don't you? You took my man and my happiness." Clara sighed. "Sister, you lost him yourself." Melissa ran out of the house, tears blinding her vision as she drove home to face her furious mother. But Jason had moved on, and this was just the beginning of his new life with Clara. Melissa stormed into the house, slamming the door behind her. Her heart was racing with anger and regret. Her mother, Mrs. Doreen, was sitting in the living room, sipping tea with a satisfied smile on her face. But as soon as she saw Melissa's expression, she frowned. "What is wrong with you? Why are you looking like someone who just saw a ghost?" Her mother asked, setting down her cup. Melissa's hands shook with rage. "Mommy, you deceived me. You made me leave Jason. You told me I was too young to settle. But now look at me. Look at where I am." Her mother rolled her eyes. "Oh, please. What are you talking about? You should be thanking me. Do you know how many rich men are out there?" Melissa pointed a shaky finger at her mother. "Jason was the best man for me, and I lost him. He was never in an accident. It was all a test, and I failed." Mrs. Doreen's eyes widened in shock. What? What do you mean it was a test?" Melissa laughed bitterly. "Exactly what I said. He was never crippled. His father made him test me to see if I truly loved him, and I showed him my true colors. And now Clara is his wife." Mrs. Doreen gasped and clutched her chest. "That cannot be. No, it's not possible." Melissa's tears fell freely. "It is possible, Mommy, and it's your fault. You told me to abandon him. You told me to leave him because he was in a wheelchair. Now look, Clara has taken my place." Mrs. Doreen stood up. "How dare you blame me? Did I force you to leave him? Didn't I give you the choice? You should have used your brain, Melissa." Melissa wiped her face with her arms. "Mommy, I was foolish. I listened to you. I didn't think for myself, and now I've lost the only man that ever truly loved me." Just then, Melissa's father, Mr. Carl, walked in carrying his briefcase. He paused at the door and frowned at the loud argument. "What is going on in this house?" he asked, looking from his daughter to his wife. Melissa turned to him, her face red with frustration. "Daddy, Mommy deceived me. She made me leave Jason, and now he is married to Clara." Mr. Carl sighed and shook his head. "I told you, Melissa. I warned you not to follow your mother's footsteps, but you refused to listen. Now you must live with your choices." Melissa collapsed onto the couch, sobbing bitterly. "Daddy, I regret everything. I should have stood by him. I should have proven my love. Her father sat beside her and placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. Melissa, it is too late. Jason is no longer your man. He is married to your stepsister, and you must respect that. Melissa looked up at her father, her face filled with pain. Daddy, what do I do? Her father exhaled deeply. Move on. Forget about Jason. He is happy now. Don't disturb him. Melissa swallowed hard and nodded, but deep inside, she knew she would never forgive herself. As she sat in regret, her mother sat beside her looking just as defeated. For the first time in a long time, Mrs. Doreen realized that her own greed and selfishness had ruined her daughter's future. But there was nothing they could do. Jason was gone, and he wasn't coming back. A new beginning for Jason and Clara. A few months later, life for Jason and Clara was beautiful. Clara stood in front of the mirror in their bedroom, her hands resting on her slightly swollen belly. She smiled as she rubbed her stomach gently. She was pregnant. Jason walked up behind her and wrapped his arms around her waist, placing his hands over hers on her belly. My queen, our little one is growing well, he whispered, kissing her cheek. Clara giggled. Yes, my love. Soon we will hear the cries of our baby. Jason turned her around and looked deep into her eyes. Clara, you are the best thing that ever happened to me. You showed me true love, and I promise to love you and our baby forever. Clara smiled as happy tears filled her eyes. And I will stand by you forever, my love. Jason kissed her forehead, holding her tightly as they stood in each other's arms. A deep sense of peace, joy, and fulfillment filled their hearts. Jason had made the right choice. Melissa had lost everything because of greed and pride, but Clara had gained everything because of love, kindness, and patience. And so they lived happily ever after. The end. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe for more interesting stories.